Something interesting is happening right now. Western luxury auto giants are standing on the edge of a cliff, and they have no idea how it came to this. For decades, brands like BMW and Mercedes were symbols of wealth, power, and global prestige. But that era is rapidly coming to an end. China's Huawei has just delivered a major blow by unveiling the Maestro S800, an elegant, ultra-luxury electric vehicle packed with cutting-edge technology, all at a price Western companies simply cannot match. This is not just another car, it's a warning. The United States and its allies are facing a competitor capable of burying their most iconic brands. Sounds a bit familiar, doesn't it? Think of how DeepSeek sparked panic in Washington, or how BYD overtook Tesla with more affordable, high-quality electric vehicles. The pattern is the same, only this time, the hit is aimed at the luxury market. For years, the West believed China was incapable of producing premium products. That illusion has now been shattered. China is aiming for the very top, offering better quality, design, and technology at prices that are impossible to compete with. So what happens when the best product also becomes the most affordable? Panic has begun to spread among Western brands. Behind closed doors, they understand this could be the end. Tariffs are the only remaining barrier, but there's a catch. Western automakers heavily depend on the Chinese market to stay afloat. And now, with Huawei entering the game, they risk losing access to a luxury segment worth $160 billion. But this is not just about cars. It's a technological war, a war over supply chains, and the West is rapidly losing ground. So let's break down how the Maestro S800 and China's EV giants are shaking the West's dominance, and why the consequences could reshape the global economy. In May 2025, Huawei, together with Chinese automaker Jack, introduced the Maestro S800, a luxury electric sedan priced from 708,000 to 1 million yuan, or roughly 98,000 to 142,000 US dollars. But this is not just another vehicle. It is a bold statement. High performance, cutting-edge tech, and a price far below Western competitors make this model a new benchmark in luxury, and a serious challenge to brands like BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Tesla. Over 6,500 pre-orders were placed in the first month alone. That may not seem like much, but for the luxury segment, it's a powerful signal of shifting consumer preferences. The Maestro S800 has become a turning point for the entire auto industry. It has exposed the vulnerabilities of Western automakers and demonstrated China's growing influence. This car is not just a product, it is part of a much larger economic and technological struggle. At stake are global supply chains, national strategies, and consumer tastes around the world. For the United States and Europe, it is a clear warning that they are losing ground. The Maestro S800 might look like just another EV in an already crowded market, but it represents something much bigger. It proves that China can make premium vehicles just as well, and sometimes even better, than the West. Behind its elegant design lies a massive domestic market. The rise of local brands, technological breakthroughs, and strong state support. And all of that is beginning to push out traditional players. The Maestro is just the beginning. So let's take a closer look at why American and European automakers have found themselves in crisis, and how China's rise in the EV space is leaving them cornered. Let's start with the numbers. China is the largest auto market in the world. In 2023, it accounted for 26 million vehicles sold, nearly one-third of global car sales. That's twice as many as in the United States, and nearly 3 times as many as in Europe. For brands like BMW, Mercedes, and Audi, China is a vital market, in some cases generating a third of their total revenue. Now imagine them losing it. BMW's sales in China plummeted by nearly 30% in the third quarter of 2024, while Mercedes saw a 10% drop. This isn't just a downturn, it's a serious blow to their entire business model. In the past, revenues from China covered the costs of research, development, and factory operations. Without that money, companies are forced to make layoffs, freeze projects, and face a prolonged decline. And it doesn't stop there. Chinese consumers are turning away from Western brands, and they're not coming back. Thanks to generous state subsidies, electric vehicles from BYD, NIO, Xiaomi, and Huawei, with its Maestro S800, are far more affordable than Western counterparts. But it's not just about price. National pride plays a key role. Increasingly, people are choosing local brands as symbols of progress and patriotism. At the same time, Western automakers have been dragged into a price war they cannot win. BMW had to slash the price of the iX1 by over $20,000 just to stay competitive. But it's no longer just about price. Chinese automakers are no longer seen as cheap knockoffs. They're now leading in technology, performance, and comfort. The Maestro S800 is a prime example. Developed by Huawei and Jack, the car rivals the Mercedes Maybach, Rolls-Royce, and BMW's top-tier electric models. It is equipped with 3 motors delivering a combined 852 horsepower and can travel up to 702 kilometers on a single charge. Thanks to 5C fast-charging technology, the battery charges from 10 to 80% in just 12 minutes. Inside, it features Huawei's Harmony OS, a seamless digital environment spread across a triple display, supported by 40 surround sound speakers. The interior is as futuristic as it is luxurious, a zero-gravity seat, a starlight ceiling, and trim materials rivaling the finest European sedans. The Maestro is already being compared to the Maybach S680 and Rolls-Royce models in both design and luxury. But the key difference is price. While a Maybach costs around $416,000, the Maestro comes in at less than a quarter of that. That's a fourfold difference, with no loss in quality. Behind this lies China's near-total control of the auto industry's supply chain. Chinese companies today produce between 60 and 75% of all battery components. BYD and CATL alone account for more than half of global production. This gives China a 20 to 30% cost advantage even before manufacturing begins. Chinese automakers can build better and cheaper, while Western companies are stuck with expensive, inefficient supply chains. The West is no longer just lagging, it is being pushed out of one of the defining industries of the 21st century, and the consequences go far beyond showrooms. The Maestro S800 is part of a broader, state-aligned strategy to dominate the global automotive industry. At the center of this strategy is vertical integration. Chinese companies don't just assemble cars, they control the entire supply chain, from lithium and rare earth extraction to the production of cathodes, anodes, and battery modules. This dramatically lowers costs, enables faster innovation, and allows for rapid global scaling. Western automakers, by contrast, rely on complex global logistics and often buy key components from China. That makes them vulnerable. Any disruption in Chinese exports, be it batteries, chips, or electronics, can paralyze Western factories. A clear example is Europe. The European Union imports most of its electronics and battery materials from China. This isn't just a risk, it's a direct threat to industrial sovereignty, and that's where the real danger lies. It's not just about market share. The real battle is for control over mobility, infrastructure, and digital ecosystems. Modern electric vehicles have already evolved into platforms driven by data. They are integrated with power grids, urban infrastructure, and smart technologies. And those who set the rules for this transformation are shaping the future. By placing itself at the heart of these ecosystems, China is not just selling cars, it is seizing control over critical networks, software, and the intelligence that will run the cities of tomorrow. In this new world, Western countries risk losing not only their industries, but also their independence. Even the highest circles of Western tech are taking notice. During his latest visit to Beijing on July 16th, NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang stated, "Chinese electric vehicles are the best in the world," highlighting the country's rapid technological progress. When one of the most influential tech leaders in the United States openly acknowledges China's leadership, it is a clear sign that the balance of power is already shifting. China's automakers are not content with dominating the domestic market. They are moving onto the global stage. In April 2025, BYD surpassed Tesla in Europe with 7,231 vehicles sold compared to Tesla's 7,165. And that happened despite the European Union imposing tariffs of up to 45% on Chinese EV imports in an attempt to protect the local industry. Yet despite these barriers, Chinese brands already command nearly 6% of the European market, doubling their share in just a few years. Chinese companies are also investing heavily in local production to bypass tariffs and strengthen their presence. For example, BYD is building factories in Hungary to produce vehicles directly in Europe and avoid import restrictions. These moves are already paying off. BYD's models in Europe carry markups of up to 92 to 112%, generating profits that Western brands can only dream of. Meanwhile, Western manufacturers are losing ground. Tesla registrations in the European Union have dropped 45% compared to the previous year. Luxury giants like BMW and Mercedes-Benz are seeing their profitability fall due to high costs, slower innovation, and dependence on outdated internal combustion engine platforms, all of which put them at a structural disadvantage. Huawei has become a central player in Beijing's strategy. Known as a leader in telecommunications, the company is now transferring its expertise in software and connectivity into the automotive industry. The financial consequences are also becoming clear. In the second quarter of 2024, BMW's profits took a sharp hit, while Mercedes-Benz, which earns nearly one-third of its revenue in China, came under severe financial pressure. If this trend continues, Western brands could lose billions of dollars and be forced to scale back investments in new technologies and the transition to electric vehicles. That would lead to layoffs, project freezes, and even a retreat from key markets like China. The Maestro 800 is more than just a car. It is a symbol of how the United States and the European Union are losing control over the future of technology, industry, and innovation. If things keep moving in this direction, they will not just lose market share, but also their economic sovereignty. So what do you think? Can the West catch up, or is China already out of reach? To stay updated on developments from the global stage, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. See you in the next video.